Hey, real life, Justin Jordan, your lead pastor here, sending you a quick update video in regards to the changing scene here in Ada County. As you probably saw on Tuesday, Central District Health set out a mandate for mask wearing in public. And many of you have been asking, what does this mean for us at real life? And I just wanted to make this quick update to let you know what that means for us. What it means for us is moving forward this Sunday, we're inviting you to wear a mask on Sunday morning to services. And I wanted to just address some of the why, as to why we're asking you to do this, as some of you are probably potentially not in agreement with wearing a mask. But we want to let you know where we stand on it, what we're going to be doing. First things of what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making sure or inviting everybody to wear a mask on Sunday, including our volunteers. The only exemption would be people that are singing on stage or communicating on stage won't be required to wear a mask. But as soon as they get off stage, we're going to ask people to put on a mask and invite you to do that. Why are we doing this? Well, a couple of things. There's an article written by Brett McCracken from the Gospel Coalition that just does a really good job of talking about why we as Christians would wear a mask. And I'm going to link that article in the email that is being sent out right now. There's a reason why you're seeing this YouTube video. But the first thing he says, and I appreciate a lot, is really the real reality is I don't like wearing a mask. I'm talking personally. I don't appreciate it. I don't like having to remember to bring it. I don't like wearing it. It's uncomfortable. I don't really like how I have to breathe in it. All those things. I don't like wearing a mask. But here's the reason why I'm wearing a mask. The first one is this, I want to love my neighbor. I want to do everything I can to help from spreading coronavirus. And so a mask, even if it only helps by 5%, it helps by 5%. And by loving my neighbor, by wearing a mask, I'm loving my neighbor. I'm trying to keep from coronavirus from spreading. I believe it's real, and I believe that it is causing people to get sick. And we're learning as we go about what the potential effects are of this virus. And so wearing a mask is loving your neighbor. It's choosing to try not to spread coronavirus. The second thing is this, is the Bible's pretty clear about honoring the government. Paul talks about it in Romans chapter 13, 1-7, about honoring and respecting the governing authorities. Now, Paul's writing this in the midst of tremendous oppression from the actual government, from the government actually on the border of not legalizing Christianity and actually persecuting Jews and Christians. And so if Paul's writing this during a time when Christians weren't always treated very well, I think the command still applies for us today in the midst of a country where we have a tremendous amount of freedom. Paul calls on us to honor the governing authorities. Now, obviously, if they're calling us to sin, calling us to do things apart from what God would want us to do, we're not going to do that. But the government's asked us to do this. And so Paul's made it pretty clear. Obey the governing authorities as long as it doesn't call us to sin. And so that's part of the reason why we're also asking you to wear a mask. And then lastly, this is probably the one that's most important to me, is unfortunately, wearing a mask in coronavirus has become politicized. And now, no matter what side of the aisle you choose, people have made you out to be the enemy if you choose to do different compared to what you would do personally. It's extremely frustrating to see divisiveness take place amongst Christians. And Paul talks about this in Romans chapter 14 in regards to the reality of opinions about certain things that aren't salvational. Talking about weaker and stronger brothers. And for many of you, you think that if you wear a mask that you're weak, that you're a sheep, I've been told from people. And Paul says it pretty plainly, that if you think you're the stronger brother, he actually says that you should look out for your weaker brother. And the freedom that God has given you in regards to non-salvational issues, that if you have the freedom to act on certain things without having a guilty conscience, that you should use your freedom to actually serve and love your other brothers and sisters. And so my encouragement to you in the midst of this is that if you're in a place where you don't think you should wear a mask, would you be willing to lay your life down? Would you be willing to put your freedom down for the sake of another brother or sister? Would you be willing to potentially lay your life down so that the gospel would move forward? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. This is not about our rights. Our identity as Christians should not be about our rights. Our identity as Christians should be about the gospel. Are people hearing the gospel more? Are they seeing the gospel more in our actions, in our behavior, in our hearts, and in our minds? And are we going to be a people that are unified with the gospel of the good news of Jesus? Or are we going to be a people that are divisive and dividing even amongst each other in the church? What I want to tell you is that what I'm most encouraged about is I'm hearing and seeing you guys as members and partners and attendees of Real Life Ministries. You continue to love well. You continue to lead well. You continue to lay your life down for others. I am not hearing any reports of people being hurtful to one another, talking badly to one another. You are staying unified. You are focusing on the mission. And I know that if there's feelings hurt, that relationships going to need to be repaired, that we're going to have to ask for forgiveness. We're going to have to learn to hear one another, listen to one another, empathize with one another, and encourage one another. And I'm believing this wholeheartedly, is that revival is in our midst. The gospel is moving forward. I'm believing that coronavirus is creating an opportunity for us like never before to really be the church. And God is on the move. And I'm so excited more than ever to partner with him to see revival take place, not only in our church, but in our communities. I'm believing that. I'm hoping that. And I'm also beginning to see that. And I hope that you are too. And if you're not, ask this question. Where is God at work around you? And are you willing to join him? Can't wait to see you guys this Sunday. Don't forget to bring a friend, bring a family member, bring a mask as we come together and open up God's word, worship together, and be challenged by his word of taking a next step of a disciple of Jesus who's called to make disciples of Jesus. Can't wait to see you on Sunday Real Life. Love you guys, and we'll see you then.